Okay, this is another YouTube stream, so if there are any hiccups or dropouts, let me know. I apologize, but it's a fast method to share information with you guys. So I count down, then I go to the video. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, online. Okay guys, this is Mandala and Mandala loves Jesus. And the topic of today is: you can't live together in peace with the enemy. I want to talk about how important it is, what company that you have in your life, with what people you are dealing on a day-to-day basis, and what people you have voluntarily in your life or in your house, with what kind of people are living around you, family members or companions or friends that you are flat with, or whatever it is. I wanna tell you of my experience that many times in my life I tried to support other people or to be there for other people, that in the end turned out to be just evil people. And I thought like I can help them, or I should help them, and I think there is some worth to this goodness when you want to help other people. I mean, surely God recognizes that you want to help other people. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes the way that we try to help other people is not the same way that the Lord wants us to help other people. Now what I want to say with this is, like, if you're living together with a person that hates God, there's really no point to it. If you're trying to establish a peaceful harmony, coexistence in the same four walls, and the other person is just hating the Lord and hates everything about you, I mean, there's no sense, it's useless, right? So if you're living with someone that doesn't stand how you live, he hates your Bible, he doesn't want you to talk about God, he hates the music that you're listening to because you are listening worship music, and of course if this person is in the world and if this is an unrepentant sinner that is just happily in the world living like a normal person, these persons, they don't stand a reborn Christian around them. They just can't stand. They convert or they will hate you, one or the other, and eventually they end up hating you, many of them. It's very rare that, it's not like everyone gets converted only because you see on YouTube videos of conversions. That's the rare case that people really turn to the Lord. And even the people that are apparently turning to God on YouTube or Facebook or in the churches, and they go to the altar and pray there, many of those people, they slip in and they slip out. They are not serious. There is not an essential change in the nature of many of those people. So they are not keeping a relationship with God. They are just, many of them are just curious and drop in and drop out. So if you see, like, yeah, we had 50,000 people baptized at one event here and there, don't believe that of those 50,000 people that got baptized, 50,000 go into heaven, because that won't happen. It won't happen. And I'm not saying this to depress anyone or to frustrate you, but you need to know the truth, that if you have ever practiced a sport, I remember when I was doing a lot of sports when I was younger, with 14 years old, and I can remember that many people came into there to train and they came in 3 months every day, and they were with all the motivation, and then after 3 months they disappeared. They never come back, right? And that's only worldly things, like worldly sports, right? And there are very few people that after 6 months of training are still on your side training with you, right? And the very same thing and more. There's a bigger loss even in the percentage of Christians. There are very few people that will walk with the Lord until the end of your life, that really give over the life to the Lord until death, not fearing even death for the sake of the Lord, right? So I want to say that it's impossible to live with people that hate God, and many times, at least in my life, it happened that I discovered that I had a demon of guilt, and that this demon of guilt was working in the on the lower levels of my intentions to help other people that really are not in a position to receive any help. You know, like you want to help someone to find God, and this other person doesn't want to know anything about God, and you still help this person, and you're offering your time and your resources or your money and everything, and you share your things, and you open up your house or you open up your heart to these persons, and they apparently hate God, you know, and that's completely useless. You're just wasting your time, and Satan has you, because you may have this good intention and the false understanding how to help other people. You're in a false conception, in a misconception of guilt, and you're feeling like you need to help other people because you sinned many times in your life. You know, I'm a confessing sinner. I know I sinned many times against holiness of God. I know that. So you may try to compensate your evilness being good to other people. Now there's nothing wrong about it being good to other people if those people go in a constructive, positive direction closer to God somehow, you know. Sometimes it's not directly the gospel in the face. Sometimes you're not even mentioning God, and you're talking about love, and you're talking about what is right, and this brings the person closer to God without having a concept of God as a person, and later this person accepts the idea that God really is a person, and that's a wonderful thing to happen. But many times it's an endless wheel that keeps on turning and turning, and you are bleeding. You're bleeding with your time, with your money, with your resources, and you are bleeding, and you're giving your life, sacrificing your life, sacrificing your time, your efforts, your body. Your body is being wasted by the work that you're doing every day. So you're paying the bills for other people, or you're paying the food for other people that are not really in any way interested in the gospel, in any way interested in justice, in any way interested in education, in respect, in honor, in dignity, in none of these values that a worldly good person can come to the point where it brings righteousness to a divine level, finding this in on the cross through the example of the righteousness of Jesus Christ. Like people that are in the world, if they really are getting hungry for true righteousness, their worldly sense of righteousness at some moment reaches its top level. There's a limit to it, because true righteousness is reserved to the divine, it's reserved to the Creator. At some point one understands that true righteousness is beyond this world, because this world is not righteous, this world is not just, right? So you can't find true righteousness from the world, even if it's manifests in this world when the Lord manifests it. So there are ways that a person that really seeks true righteousness, that you can guide to Jesus, and of course it's the Lord that saves the person. But you can guide this person. You can be an arrow. You can be an advertising arrow, saying, "There's the Lord. There is Jesus." You know, if you go this way, you fail. That's the truth. Go there, right? Like John the Baptist did. He was an arrow pointing out to Jesus, and that's one of the biggest examples in the way of life of John the Baptist for us as disciples, to point out to Jesus. Look, that's the righteousness of Jesus. Open up the New Testament, read about the righteousness of Jesus, and he may, if you accept it, the righteousness of Jesus can be your righteousness if you accept it in your heart. You can become a new person. You can have a change in your heart. But if the people that you're living with are just evil people, they are just Satan's people, you know, they are just people completely under the influence of demons, and you may get tempted to keep those people around you in a kind of masochistic, self-destructing way, a false understanding of guilt, like you're feeling guilty for things that you have never forgiven yourselves, you know. If you're living in a kind of unforgiveness when it comes to your own person, you know, even though that the Lord may have forgiven you, you know, but you need also to forgive yourself, you know. There's really no difference if you have bitterness against your own or bitterness against another person. You have to get rid of all bitterness. You can't have unforgiveness against yourself or any other person. You always have to forgive, right? You can't make differences. You don't have to look at the person, right? God doesn't look at the person. He doesn't say this one has a nice face and I forgive him, this one has an ugly face, I won't forgive him, you know. That's, and so we shouldn't look at ourselves like I forgive other people, but I am not ready for myself. You can't measure in different measures, right? And that leads sometimes, like in my case, to trying to help other people, because you kind of feel guilty for the things that you did before, even though you already have repented and turned away from all those sins, but you still feel like in a debt with the past, even though it's not true, you know, because there's no debt of the past when you have received forgiveness through the precious blood of Christ, that Jesus paid already your debt, and that's a kind of a very evil mechanism. So the conclusion I want to bring it to is, if you are living with people, and these people that you have taken in your house, they hate God, you can't have them with you. You have to bring them to make a decision, you know, like, do you want to live a righteous life? Yes or no? You don't want to, then you can't stay here. You can't. If someone tells me I hate you, and you're an idiot, and I hate you, and you're an idiot, and nothing else, and I say, if you're not coming down to a minimum respect between us, both of us, if you're not at disposal to do so, you can't have anything from me. You have to seek for another place to live. It's not my problem anymore. If you're insisting in your evilness, if you're insisting in abusing other people without any intention to change, there is no intention to change whatsoever. Get rid of these persons. Get rid of those people. Because you cannot go out there from your house and evangelize to other people and tell them about the love of God and how important it is not to sin. Having in your house people that are doing all they wicked things, you know. Like, imagine if I'm living together with a thief, and I'm telling other people how important it is not to sin, not to fornicate, not to steal, not to lie, you know. And at the same time, I'm giving food to a thief who supposedly is not finding work, and he tells me, yeah, Mandala, I went out and I robbed someone, you know. But I'm kind of sorry, you know, and I'm supporting it. You know, you can't do that. Or you can't say, you can't have people living in fornication in your house saying, okay, hopefully they find Jesus someday, and you're supporting them living in fornication and say, well, they are young, they don't know, they don't understand the concept of marriage. Let's just hope that someday they will stop fornicating. That's wrong, you know, that's not how it works. They are living in major sin against the Lord, and you are not to be found supporting that. You're not. That's not the way to help. Okay? So no, I just want to encourage you to reflect on your concept and on the tools that you use, that you try to use to lead other people closer to the Lord. I want you to encourage to evaluate what strategies that you are applying to bring people closer to the Lord, and if they are efficient. Where are the fruits? Is everyone getting baptized in body and in spirit, coming completely out of the world and following Jesus without mattering anything, you know, like nothing matters to me, it's only Jesus? Is that happening? How, as a result, how you treat those people? Or are you just wasting time and money, resources, your life, sacrificing your body for nothing? Are you tossing the pearls to the swine? You know, is that a possibility? I just want you to ask yourself what's going on in these subjects, and if you find that to test the spirit of us, to go there and say, what do you want? What do you really want? Do you really want to live a just life? Do you really want to live in a life where everyone is respecting each other, like, hello, how are you, you know? Or do you just want to be angry with everyone all your lifetime, and you never want to ask forgiveness to anyone, and you're so arrogant and you're so prideful, you know? Are you happy in your pride? Are you happy with that, you know? So I want to encourage you to discern, to try to discern and to learn to discern between helping other people and being abused. We're not to be abused, you know. When Jesus says, for instance, if someone asks you to go a mile with him, go 2 miles with him, right? There is only sense in this if it leads to any change, right? You know what I'm saying? If you have a person that doesn't know the love of God, and you can show and make manifest the love of God by he's asking you help, and you're giving him double of the help, that's what Jesus is saying. And then this person is impacted and touched in its heart because it sees there's true love. I know that in this world there is no true love, but this guy, he has a kind of love that is not of this world, because this person has Jesus Christ, you know. So that is how we can testify, through our testimony and through loving other people. But if there is no impact in the other heart that leads this person to, hey, tell me more about Jesus, tell me more, how do you do it, how do